If you're making between $50,000 to $100,000 as a filmmaker, you are actually in the most dangerous income range in this industry because you're good enough to survive, but you're not structured enough to scale. I built my production company over years and we eventually hit $500,000 in top line revenue, and it had nothing to do with better gear, even though of course we all love gear and I loved buying cool cameras and we had a Red and whatever, right? We had all the cool stuff, but gear doesn't do it. It wasn't better color grading or even better storytelling. It had everything to do with fixing these 5 structural mistakes that I had in my business. So let me show you what actually changed and how hopefully we can help you change that as well. Here's the trap. At $75,000 to $100,000 per year, you feel legit. And that means you're doing a lot of good things, right? You're helping people with making content, you're making videos for them, whatever that looks like. You're booked, you're busy, but what that also means is you're probably tired. It usually looks like $3,000 project, $5,000 project, super rush edit on a $2,000 thing, random $8,000 corporate gig. Revenue looks decent on paper, but it's fragile. One cancellation wrecks your entire month and one slow quarter spikes your anxiety. Everything is month to month and it's always changing. So what ultimately happens is you don't own a company, you own a treadmill and you own the world's worst job. It's a job you can't leave. If you've ever read The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, it talks about this, where a lot of entrepreneurs are technicians and we're really good at this, right? Like you're good at shooting and editing and that kind of thing, but we end up creating a job that's the worst job in the world, a job that we can't leave. The turning point is not asking the question, how do I get more clients? Because then we're going to continue to feed the rat race. You start asking, how do I make each client worth 5 times more? That question alone can change the trajectory of your business. Most videographers or filmmakers say, I do video, but the problem is you're targeting everyone. You're competing with everyone. When you reposition yourself as somebody who helps businesses achieve outcomes, everything shifts. Now, instead of we make great videos, it's we help companies build structured content systems or ad systems that support revenue. That changes who calls you and also what problem that is you're solving for them. You solve bigger problems, you can charge more money. The second shift is offer size. Let's look at the math. If you do $3,000 per project, you need 84 projects per year to hit $250,000. That's 7 projects per month. Now add revisions, scope creep, scheduling chaos, and you're not scaling, you're drowning. And I get it. I was 100% there with you when we were at 250, when we were at 350, and then we were at 500. It was, even though I was adding people to my team, it was just pure chaos all the time because we were taking on so many jobs. Now let's change the script. At $15,000 a project, that's only 17 jobs. Now, of course, that's easier said than done, right? Like getting a $15,000 job is no easy thing to do. However, if you start changing your mindset and repositioning yourself in a different way where we're solving bigger problems, then all of a sudden those opportunities may be even sitting right in front of you. I have an example I'll tell you about in just a second. Revenue stress typically revolves around offer stress. And a lot of us are doing way too many small things that we need to be potentially saying no to, or we need to be looking at how we're positioning ourselves to solve bigger problems. All right, shift number 3 is how you do your pitch structures. Most filmmakers and videographers are sending out a blind proposal without knowing what problem we're solving, the budget range, who the decision maker is on that, and what the business goal is for this project. Most of the time we're guessing and trying to just charge as much as we can to get a decent project. But when we begin to ask the right questions and see what problems we're helping them solve, everything can change about how you're doing your proposals. I want to talk about this too. When you're going back and forth with a client and you're talking about what you're going to do, what the deliverables are, all that kind of thing, right? This is also an opportunity to look and see what gaps exist where they may not be seeing it. You're coming to this with a fresh perspective. They're looking at it all the time, right? So we need to go from just order taker to somebody who is a strategist who can help them see what the long-term impact of this is and how they can see a real result. Because all of a sudden it may not be where they just need a single project, but they need an entire system. And that's what gets us to number 4, which is retainers. If we're asking the right questions, solving bigger problems, and implementing systems for customers, this is where income stabilizes. When you're working on the pitch or even maybe with your current clients after you've finished a job, instead of walking away, ask them, would it make sense for us to systematize this monthly so we can continue to get you consistent, whether it be ads, content, whatever it is that's going to help support their goal. That one sentence can create predictable revenue. 2 $6,000 a month retainers is $144,000 locked in before you book a single new client. Predictability not only removes panic, but can also help stabilize things where you're not jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing all the time. Okay, shift number 5, systems and leverage. If you can't step away for 2 weeks without chaos, you don't own a business. You own a very high paying job. That's what I was talking about earlier with the E-Myth. We create jobs for ourselves in this world where we basically can't walk away. I've gone to vacation before with my laptop and my full hard drive system. And I bet if you are doing around this type of revenue, you probably know what I'm talking about. But what we started doing is standardizing onboarding, questionnaires, creative briefs, revision limits, and contracts. Structure creates margin, and margin creates scale. Here's the story I was talking about earlier. So we were doing $2,500 to $3,000 jobs for a company called Zepp. You may have heard of them. They do cleaning products. They're in Target and Home Depot and whatever, right? And we were doing a bunch of just one-off $2,500 to $3,000 jobs for single products, maybe 2 or 3 at the most, but a lot of times it was like single products. And I looked at the amount of products that they had and what they were doing on whether it be Amazon or Walmart or Target or the places that they sell, and obviously on social media as well. And at that rate, we were never going to help them start to achieve the type of content role that they needed in terms of how many products that they had. So asking the question, I said, hey guys, would it make more sense for you guys to do this monthly where we have at least one shoot day a month, or we can knock out a bunch of products and then we can be working on all the products we shot in between now and the next shoot date to where you guys have more content, we have more things we can do to make ads for specific products, and we're not just doing one-offs. Well, all of a sudden, those $2,500, $3,000 random shoots turned into a $10,000 a month contract because we simply asked the question, helped them see things that they weren't seeing because they're in it every day, and began to be a strategist with them, not just an order taker for a video. So let's wrap this all up. The jump to getting from $250,000 to even maybe $500,000 in your videography business, it wasn't creative, it wasn't luck, and it wasn't hustle. It was structural math, positioning, offer size, sales, retainers, systems. It was being a strategist for our customer and not just an order taker. You fix these and your income ceiling changes. Ignore them and you'll continue to stay busy like crazy forever. So if you're in that $50,000 to $100,000 range and you feel stuck, and I broke all this down into a guide called the 6-Figure Filmmaker Framework. Download it below, and in the next video, I'll show you exactly how to land your first $15,000 client, even if you've never pitched above $5,000 before. Subscribe to the channel if you're serious about building a production company and not just freelancing with better gear. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.